Average US household has $87,000 towards retirement. Now, if you're looking to get that 100,000 mark, the first 100,000 is of course the absolute most difficult to get. That is because you're not feeling the impact of compounding interest. But what if you wanted to take it one step further? We are almost to a investment portfolio of $100,000. So that makes the next goal 1 million. That is right, getting into the seven figures, getting to $1 million. But how do we transition from that $100,000 portfolio into that $1 million portfolio? That's what we're going to be checking out with my strategies of what we're going to be doing as we continue to grow this portfolio. Number one, investing in the S&P 500. Now we know primary tool for investment, S&P 500. We've seen this from Warren Buffett. We've seen the growth. This is really the standard when it comes to the index using the 500 largest companies within the United States. It has had an absolute bench line and really benchmark of wealth building over the past 30, 40 plus years. When you look at the index average, ever since it has been created, it has had an annual return of about 10%, which is kind of crazy. So thinking again of our $100,000 nest egg that we do have built up, you could double that 100,000 to 200,000 every 7 to 8 years, just leaving it in there with that growth factor. So if you're getting that 10%, with the compounding, and this is really where it comes in. So if you're under 40, you won't have to do really anything short of having that 100,000 in there, because over the next 24 years, based on historical returns, you are going to be at that you're going to be at that $1 million, moving from that 100,000 into that $1 million portfolio. Now, of course, this is where, again, that Vanguard S&P 500 ETF comes in, which is the VOO. Personally, I invested in that as well. It is a very, very solid ETF that we have seen, and the longevity has really shown it. Now, also going from that 100,000 to that million, another thing you can do is continue to add funds. Now, of course, you could go ahead, you could leave that aside, you could put your 100,000 in there and just let it naturally compound. However, you are going to make it so much faster if you're steadily adding additional funds in there, which again, looking at traditional like 401k plans, things of that nature, you're adding funds on a paycheck by paycheck basis. So let's just suppose that that average return was 9%. The 100,000 will grow to 1 million in 26 years. Again, if you go in 10%, you're talking about 24 years. So again, a 2-year difference right there, you can kind of see the difference. But if you're adding money in here, so let's say you're adding another $100 in there every single month, of course, the 26 now goes to 25 years. You saved a full year. If you're putting $250, you're down to 23 years, $500 on a monthly basis. You're down to 21, $1,000. So just doubling that up, 18 years, you are a millionaire in an investment account. If you're putting in 2,500, it is merely 13 years that you are going to hit that $1 million status. Now, of course, if you're thinking again, hitting that $1 million status, once you start that snowball and once you start getting that compounding interest, if you keep it in there past that 13 years, if you go 15, if you go 17, the compounding just goes faster and faster. Investing is a numbers game, and a lot of people really don't understand that. Adjusting the monthly contributions based on your income, how much you can put in there. Also, what does your horizon look like? A lot of people, want to retire at 62, 65, 67. It's kind of crazy to wait that long. In my opinion, guys, really retiring at 50, 55 is ideal, because unfortunately, if you're retiring at 67, life expectancy of me as a male, white male, is roughly 87. So that is giving me 20 years and 20 years only in retirement. And also that does not take into factor, you might not be in the best health when you get into those retirement years, especially when you're pushing 67, depending on how you've really taken care of yourself. So I want to get to the point of having $1 million long before I'm 67 years old. That way I go into retirement. Third part of this, don't obsess with the day-to-day. This is the big part that people forget. The market goes down, they sell everything. The market's going up, they're buying everything. It is really tempting to check on your investments on a daily basis. Sometimes, and some people, multiple times a day. It goes up, it goes down. This also doesn't mean the other extenuating circumstance where you're not checking it every couple years just to make sure that it's still there. Checking your account daily or weekly can really tug on the emotional side of it. and investing should not be emotional. As much as people do kind of tie it to emotions, it is not emotional, especially if you're putting more money in there. When the market is down, that is the time to be investing more money. When the market is up, that's the time to hold back some of that, because what will happen if the market's going down or it's having a rough stretch like we've seen in 2022, ton of people pull their money out, the market goes down lower. This means you're buying it at a very, very big discount. Now, of course, when it comes to investing, the gut feeling and really the emotional side of it, you want to take out of it. You're investing on mathematics, you're investing with a strategy, you're investing with your brain, not with the emotions. And also remember, investing is a long-term game, which means 7+ years at a very minimum when it comes to the investment returns. Even that, you could be looking at 10, 20, 30, 40 years, depending on how old you are, to really go and make that $1 million and make it very easy. The final one we look at here is looking for free money. This is always something that I think a lot of people overlook. Most people have at least a retirement savings, whether it's employer sponsored, whether it's a 401k, whether it's a pension plan, whatever they are offering for retirement, make sure you're doing your contributions. When it comes to especially employer matching, for instance, my employer gives me 7%, I put in 7%, boom, we have a 14% match or 14% investment rate there, taking their 7. If I was not putting in there, you're absolutely just leaving money on the table. That is free money. So not only can we go in and make our 401k contribution match or contributions, we can also get the match, which means we're systematically using the company's money to invest in my 401k plan, which means I put $5,000 in my 401k plan. They put $5,000 in my 401k plan. We're putting $10,000 in there and everyone is happy. You can double what you're doing, again, by the company match. You have to do it, guys. I see a lot of people who do not take the company match. I have a lot of individuals that, they might match 4%, they put in 2, they might match 7%, they put in 4. Take the company match, take every single penny from the company that you're there because they are offering it to you in your incentive plan. And if you're not, even in my scenario where, I put in 5,000, they put in 5,000, you are cutting $5,000 out of your salary just for the simple fact that you're not making contributions into that 401k plan. So what does it look like as a bottom line? Investing, personal finance can be incredibly complicated. However, it is really as complicated as you make it. If you're steadily putting money into the VOO, that S&P 500, over the course of the next 20 years, you're going to see considerable growth depending on how much you're putting in there. And again, this is going to make a big difference on what your short-term and long-term goals are. But when it comes to investing, we are playing the long-term play, meaning that we are looking at decades of growth, not the ups and downs of the day-to-day or even the ups and downs of year-to-year, but we are looking decade over decade over decade of growth that we're going to see. This is my plan, guys. I am going to continue investing not only in the S&P 500 with the VOO, but my portfolio, as we have $100,000, and within probably the next 6 months, we'll be well over $100,000 on our road to 1 million, which is where we want to get. With the regular contributions I'm putting in there, we're starting to see compounding. We're starting to see dividends. We're starting to see a bigger number that is coming out of there. So that is my plan. Definitely 4 ways to grow, not only putting money in my 401k, but also the brokerage account that we have that 100 grand in. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.